In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make an n8n workflow that can run every single month and sends you a list of product that has a net margin of less than 30%. So this is the email we received from this automation. So it checked for the last month, from the start of the last month till the end of the last month. It mentioned how many products were selling for less than 30% margin. It mentioned those products and some extra metrics, and you can use this workflow to get the low profit margin products, basically daily, monthly, or yearly. We create n8n workflows or automations, and we made this workflow for an Australian e-commerce company. It was much more complex one, but I removed many nodes to simplify this tutorial. So let's begin. Okay, so let me explain each node one by one. But before we start, let me give you an overview of how this automation works. So it runs monthly on the first of every month at 9 a.m. It can be set to daily, weekly, quarterly, yearly, etc. or any custom date. Okay, it fetches the previous month's Shopify orders from the first of the last month till the last date of the last month, and then for the same time frame, it gets the meta ads and data. I can also set, or you can also set TikTok's ad spend, or if you use any other website like Google PPC or Google Data or Reddit ads, anything that you can want. And then it retrieves shipping rates, and then it calculates net margin per product, not entire for the entire shop, but per product. And it filters out all the products that are having more than 30% margin, so that you get the report only for products that are less than 30% margin. It saves those products on Google Sheet and sends you an email report. So let's begin. So it runs, first we add the trigger, which is basically cron job. It runs every month at 9 a.m. on first date. Okay. Then basically we are hard coding some data here. You can either hard code it here or put it on a Google Sheet and fetch the data from Google Sheet here. So here we are hard coding the threshold net profit margin for which we don't want this automation to run or workflow to run. Your Stripe or your PayPal, this processing fee to calculate the net margin, your packaging cost per item, your overhead like rent, utilities, software, we assume that is 5%. Your store details like a Shopify admin, email address of the recipient, the spreadsheet ID where we want to store all this data, and this date range. So let's open this. So here's the margin threshold, which is basically 30%. I'm writing 0.3 because it doesn't take the percent value. We need to write in a numerical format. It is the payment fee percentage for Shopify is 2.9% plus $0.3 per transaction. So we've mentioned 0.029 for 2.9%, and for $0.3 we mentioned 0.3. Then we presume the packaging cost per unit is $1. You can mention whatever your packaging cost per product is right here. If it is dynamic, I mean for bulkier, it takes more money, or basically it costs more. You can fetch all this data from a Google Sheet. You can mention all those data in a Google Sheet and fetch the value here. And then overhead percentage, I kept it as 5%. It includes your rent, your electricity, or extra things, rent, utilities. Then here's a Shopify domain. Replace it with your domain ID. And the CEO email, basically the recipient email, whoever wants to receive this monthly email. In a currency, you can put INR, USD, AUD, GBP, whatever you want. Then date start, it basically, I put a JSON formula to get the first date of the last month. You are seeing right now I'm recording this video. It's October. So the first date of last month is basically 1st of September. And for the same month, I'm retrieving the last date, which is 30th of September. Then Google Sheet ID, where we want to store this data. I entered a random number here. So I forgot to tell one thing. I'm running this localhost. I'm not running it on this client server or basically a n8n server. So I downloaded this workflow for my local host, and I removed some of the nodes to simplify this workflow. and make it much less complex. So the original workflow was having much more complex and having much more basically functionalities, and was much more rigid basically. Okay. Then here we're putting Facebook ad account ID. If you don't know how to find this, you can either find on YouTube or just ask ChatGPT where to get Facebook account ID to get the ad data for n8n. It will give you step-by-step guide. And then your Shopify access token. If you can also find it on YouTube or just ask ChatGPT to find the access token. It will give you a step-by-step guide. Now we are going to get all the data from the Shopify store. So basically we're using HTTP node. You might be wondering why we are not using Shopify node. I'll tell you more about it later. So it connects Shopify store. It downloads all the order from the last month, like what was the cost selling price, how many products you sold, what was the cost price, and how many refunds you got. Okay, so let's open this. So the reason we are not using this Shopify node because we want to retrieve much more data, and for this we have to use Shopify GraphQL API. If you simply use Shopify node, like this node, so you get some data, but you have to create many nodes for all the things that we want. So basically, when we're using HTTP, we are getting all the data just using one node. So the workflow is much more optimized. It will cost you less for each run. And because I'm running in local host, I've not connected to the client Shopify store. That's why you're getting this red mark. But in the version that when you connect to the Shopify store, all this thing will turn green, and all this node that are grayed out, it will be green. Okay. So basically, we're fetching these data. It's created. It is the first date of the last month. Okay, and till the last date of the last month, we're fetching this shop money, this amount, this currency, all this data. Okay, for the calculations. Now coming to the second part, we are fetching meta ad spend. So we're connecting to Facebook ads account, and it gets how much you spent on advertising, and it tries to match ad spending to specific product. You run campaign for all the products, but if I simply take into account the average basically ROAS or cost per sale for entire store and use it to calculate for a particular product, and it will not give the actual net margin. We need to get the cost per sale for a specific product to calculate net margin. Again, we are not using Meta Facebook node here. We are using HTTP, and we're using the Graph API for Facebook. Okay, we are getting all this data access token, this campaign ID spend, and the day time range is nothing but the start date of last month till the last date of last month. Okay, we are fetching all these data, and we are fetching shipping rate from a Google Sheet. You can write a shipping rate in a Google Sheet for all the products or all the size and volume, and it fetches the rate from there. Now we are merging all this data so that we can calculate the margin. Now we are using this JavaScript code to calculate many things, like we want to calculate revenue, your expense, COGS, shipping cost, payment processing fee, ad spend, packaging, overhead, and we want to calculate profit, net margin, and also return the data for the products that have net margin less than 30%. So let's open it. Okay, so we are fetching the orders, meta ads, and shipping rates, and you can see here it is basically where is it? Yeah, it is calculating order revenue right here with this code. It is calculating COGS for all the products, and then it is calculating shipping cost and meta attributions, and here it is calculating the meta ad spend for each product. Okay, and where is it? It is calculating this payment fee, this expenses, and here it is calculating net profit margin, which is nothing but total expense. We have included COGS, shipping, payment fee, ad spend, other expense, basically overhead. And it is calculating profit, which is nothing but revenue minus expense, and it is calculating margin. Okay, and here we are filtering to the products that have the less than 30% net margin. And also, I forgot to say one thing. You can also change the 30% or 10% or 20% or 30 or 50 for whatever you want. Just change the configuration here. If you want to filter a product that have less than 15% margin, then just write 0.15. If you want 50%, write 0.5. If you want 20%, write 0.2. Whatever you want. Okay. Then we're using if else node to filter out the products that have more than 30% margin, and we are taking no action here. And for all the products that have less than 30% margin, we are first saving it on Google Sheet. So this Google Sheet ID is fetching from this configuration node. Remember we added a Google Sheet ID here. Yes, this here. It is fetching the ID from there, and it is writing all the data in the Google Sheet. And then it is emailing the CEO or whoever the recipient is. It is fetching this email ID from the configuration field, and it is sending an HTML, his subject, and this is the email, and it looks like this. So that's all, guys. If you want to build this, if you are having any issue implementing this workflow, you can contact me. My email ID is popping up right now on the screen, or you can contact me via email ID present in the description also. We make n8n workflow for e-commerce companies. And like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.